Alright guys, so just so you know, today's video you'll be able to just listen versus having to watch it, because you're just going to see a fire pit burn. I do want to give you a little disclaimer on where everything is placed. So right now I am standing here in the same spot that camera was sitting last night. Well, similar spot. It was actually down here on the ground. So here we are. When we talk about where the tent is, it's right over there. You see that tree limb? That is the four-wheeler trail they discuss. Right there is the spillway on the other side of the logs there. Okay. That is the rock bank. The lake was behind me with the camera. The point is out there. There's the booger buggy. And we're back to the fire. Okay? So this is the way camp is set up. That way y'all have a little bit of thought process on the way the stories are being told later on in the video. Alright, let's let them get to it.
Okay.
Alright, say something.
Hello. Something. Actually, I done a little bit today.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. We're up here on Creepy Mountain. Nighttime. Camping out with Pat. We're gonna do a little talking for just a few minutes. I finally got him hemmed up. He can't run off from me.
Yep, he put a hole in my tire, so I can't leave.
Frogs are going pretty good. Wind's moving a little bit. We hadn't noticed anything out of the ordinary. Been actually very quiet. But
Yeah. I've been up here since Saturday night.
Yep.
We had a whole crew here Saturday night through Sunday, and they all left. Left me up here all by my lonesome. Today's Tuesday.
Right. Yeah. You had a little activity Sunday night, and heard some stuff over here on the other side of the dam, and it was Monday. You thought you might have heard some talking, but we don't really know if it was somebody or what it was.
Yeah, well, it come from the tree line right on the other side of the lake there to the east, on the east side of it, across the point.
Yeah.
So I found it hard to believe it was a couple guys over there talking, walking, you know.
Yeah, and
I didn't hear any vehicles at all. So
there wasn't nobody signed in up here either, because I checked the sign-in book. I just seen eye shine right yonder.
Where?
Right up on the hill right there.
Like on the road coming in?
Right across that slate rock right yonder. Where they used to always do it, right over at them little group of pines over.
I'll keep an eye up there.
Yeah, I got a glimpse of it one time.
That'd be a good spot. I could just stand over there and look over the top.
Probably what sister was looking at.
Might have been.
Could be, because I just got a glimpse of it. Yeah, we had a pretty good little private outing. I guess you'd call it a small one, but
That was small.
It started out small. I think altogether it was about 15.
yeah. I'm gonna wait and let some of them, they got some things they found and seen, so I'm gonna let them talk about it when they get ready to talk about it. So I'm not really gonna bring it up, but we did hear some vocals Saturday night.
Right at dark.
and had a few more later that night. Then a couple of interesting things popped up, so I'm gonna wait and let them come forward and tell what they, what they experienced, and we'll go from there. But this is how we always used to do. We'd come right here and Pat camp out right here a lot. Me and Keith, and sometimes Adam, and
all about that loving.
a few other people would come visit. And Pat sometimes has some good activity here.
Yeah, I've had some pretty crazy stuff happen right here at this lake.
Yeah, you have. You want to tell some of it?
It might scare me to relive it.
It might scare you to relive it. Oh man.
Well, this goes back, I don't know, 10 years maybe.
Well, you started coming here in 2008 or 9.
8. That's when we had that big outing at the Alabama Forum.
Yeah.
I think it was the next year I bought a booger buggy.
Yeah, you seen Mr. Towels, and
Yep. His was bare bones, but it gave me an idea.
yeah.
I would have liked to show them mine.
May have to film it tomorrow if you don't mind. Let people see kind of how it
Oh yeah,
looks.
sure.
That way, if they wanted to build them one, they could. You had that thing a long time.
Man, I don't know how many thousands of miles I have. Every time I come here, it's 1,000 miles.
Yeah, and you've been.
I've been to Texas with it, Alabama, I don't know how many times, Mississippi several times, all over Florida with it.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you what you could do. Why don't you tell everybody how you got in Bigfoot when you had your sighting there at Green Swamp, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was in 2000, I want to say 6. And at the time I was with that well-known organization with the 4 letters, starts with a B, but I'm not going to name it. And a report came in from a guy down there in the Greens that lived in Lakeland, but was up fishing at this little, actually what it was, a borrow pit when they built the main road, county road through the middle of the Green Swamp. So there's a series of holes where they dig and get the lime rock out, to raise the road bed. And all of them are all filled with water and fish and whatever, gators. Guy was there fishing and found footprints. So I called the guy up, me and these 2 other guys talked to him, and then went down there and talked to him, in person, and then started camping out down there. So one night we had our main campsite set up, some tarps strung from the trees and stuff. And I took my little tent down this little trail, I don't know, maybe 200-300 yards. And I set it up with at the time all I had was a camcorder with the VHS tape. It would run, 90 minutes or whatever. So I took it down there right before dark, set it on a tripod in the tent, pointing out the open door of the tent flap. And just turned it on and walked away. Me and this other guy, the guy that had found the footprints, I wanted to go down there and get it because I didn't want it sitting out in the weather all night, or, I just wanted to go down and fetch it. It was probably about 11 o'clock at night. So I know the battery was dead and the film was, it was all used up. So we walked down that little trail, and back in those days, we didn't really have the good LED flashlights like we do now. I had one of them little pocket flashlights it took the little 3 AAA batteries. It doesn't shine more than about 20-30 feet. So we walked down that trail, got to the tent. I was going to leave the tent, so I just folded up the tripod, slung the camcorder and tripod over my shoulder, and we turned around to come back. And there, right in the middle of the trail, about 30 feet behind us, was this this damn Bigfoot. And at that time, I wasn't, I was interested in all this, but I hadn't made up my mind whether they're real or not,
Got made up that night, didn't it?
Yeah, real quick. Because I guess he must have heard us or seen us walking down the trail, so he just followed in line right behind us is what I think happened.
Leave Rusty be.
And, you know, when we got to the tent, it only took me like a half a minute to just fold up the legs, throw it over my shoulder, and turn around, and there he was. Right in our way, because we had to head that way.
Right.
And I would say, well, I mean, I shined the flashlight on him, and the other guy that was with me, we both said, oh shit, you know, something like that at the same time.
Right.
And that thing jumped sideways to its right, which would have been my left, off the trail behind some palmettos. And I could see it looking at us. I could see like its head and its shoulders above the top of the palmettos.
Right.
And he was like leaning left, leaning to the right, and then it's like he stood up taller, like maybe on tiptoes or something, trying to get a look at us. And we got these little bitty weak flashlights pointing right at him. And that thing just turned around and bolted. I mean, it sounded like a truck going through the woods, just off through the palmettos. And we had to walk right past that spot, you know, to get back to our camp. But,
Right.
So I told the other guys, you know, I got back, we're all excited. Oh, this just, you know, look what I just seen and all this, you know, telling them. So anyways, the next day I went back down there. I had to get my tent anyway, but I took a tape measure and tops of them palmettos, you know, they're kind of like a fan, but
Right.
they were about 6.5 foot tall. So I figured this thing was probably about 7.5 foot tall, because I could see its head and its shoulders. The shoulders are probably about 3 feet wide. Kind of tall. He was built, but slender, like a basketball player type build.
Right. Right.
And so I was a believer after that. Then we kept going to that area and camping about every other week, every other weekend. And we started finding a bunch of tracks too, and we tried to duplicate them. We're thinking, all right, somebody's out here messing with us. But we were finding 5 different tracks, different kinds.
So
We could literally identify 5 different ones.
So there's a little clan living there.
Yes. One was kind of banana footed. One of them, 1 foot was banana footed. The big one was like 18 inches.
There's old Papa.
That's what we think. And then another one that had like a crippled looking foot. And then there was like smaller, you know, like 12 and 10 inches or whatnot. I don't remember all the details now, but one of the other guys I was researching at the time, we were all camped out there, you know, over the weekend, and we got rain overnight. So we decided to jump in the back of the other guy's truck.
Come here.
What's she seeing?
I don't know. Sister.
Somebody got a flashlight?
Sister, back up. Back up.
Should I put the flashlight on it or just get the thermal?
What is Rusty looking at?
I don't know, but Rusty, stay, buddy. Stay. Let me walk over here. Both of the dogs are fixed in the woods right here.
Have that camera ready.
It's ready.
Okay.
It's still on.
I know.
Again, I don't see anything.
He was there and then she barked.
Rusty, you better stay, buddy. You stay right here. Right. So, anyways, back to my story.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
It was something.
Something moved or shadow or something.
So,
He come
anyways.
over here by you too, didn't he?
Yeah. Rusty, you stay over here, buddy. Anyways, both of our dogs just was staring and barking at the woods here behind us.
Hey.
So they was both keying in on something over here behind us.
Yeah.
Behind the drop off, behind the spillway over here.
They always used to love to pop their head up right there.
So anyways, back to my story. We decided to ride the roads in the morning because we got rain overnight, and down there it's all sugar sand, so it's like beach sand.
Right.
So we was riding in the back, and the other guy was driving, and we're just looking out both sides of the truck bed, you know, going slow down these dirt roads, and found this footprint in the little swale on the edge of the road. And we stopped and jumped out and looked at it. And it was 18 inches, clear 5 toes. You could actually see the toenail impressions in the ends.
Wow.
And the other guy, Mike, had some thermal, some of that dental stone. And he casted that footprint and was able to pick up dermal ridges and the clear definition of the toenails in the front of all the toes, all 5 toes. It was like 18 inches long, 8.5
Wow.
wide. So we started trying to track this. We looked, it looked like it run across the road, but there was no tracks in the road.
Right.
And it was the dirt road and the 2 swales was probably 25 feet maybe altogether. So we went in the woods ahead of it. We found a couple, you could see where the duff had been disturbed going forward, like running through there. And you kind of scoop up that pine duff if you were to run through there.
Right.
So the next step was like, I don't remember all the exact measurements now, but it was like 8 or 9 feet. And then the next step we found was more like 5 feet. And then the next, it was, then there was a couple more that were around 4.5 to 5 foot. Like it ran, jumped, a couple more running steps, and then went back to a walk.
Right.
So we looked on the other side, the north side of the road, and found exactly the same thing, only in reverse. We found several wide-spaced footprints, 9, 12 inches, or 9, 12 feet. And then the further back we go from the direction that it came, they tapered down to, 6 feet, and then like 4.5 to 5 feet, like a normal walking stride. And that was a really, really good plaster cast. He ended up sending it, he made a duplicate of it using this rubber mold process and sent one to Dr. Meldrum. But we used to camp out there all the time for years, and we had a lot of crazy stuff happen. One night we was camped at this dead end road where there's a barbed wire fence where you couldn't go into the other side of the green swamp. So it was a little dead end road, and we had our tent set up, and the one guy that was driving that truck when we found the track, it was a different time though, he had a Gen 3 night vision scope, and he had it in a toolbox, little plastic toolbox on the roof of his truck, and he had a full-size F-250. And he had it kind of pointed over our campsite, where all it could really see is like the tops of our 3 tents. And we were spread out on both sides of this little dirt road called turnaround thing. But my tent was closest to the back of his truck. In the middle of the night, I heard a real loud thud. And I didn't get up or anything, and I didn't think those guys heard it. They were all in their own tents. Next morning, we got to looking, and that toolbox had been, something must have hit it or thudded it, because it was, instead of pointing at us, it was pointed clear off the front of his truck, like off the hood, instead of over the back. Something hit that thing and spun it around. Another time we was camped on the power lines down there, me and the one guy that had that Ford F-250. And I got this little hunting blind with graphite that you just literally throw up in the air and it sets itself up, one of those little, I think it's called a doghouse hunting blind. And it's just barely enough room for 2 guys to lay down in there and use it for a tent. So we camped down on this power line, which was all gated off, but the gate happened to be open, so we drove in about 4 or 5, I think 4 towers. You know how far apart those towers are. Right where the power line crosses this place called Devil's Creek Swamp. That's what it's actually named on the map. And we set up that little tent in the middle of summer, no sleeping bags or nothing, but he snores like a damn rhinoceros. And he's kind of hard of hearing from shooting guns his whole life, but I was wide awake. We was both in there. And I hear whistling coming up out of the swamp right up the length of the power. I heard it probably as close as 20 feet away, and then it stopped. And I whistled back and didn't ever hear anything. He never woke up. But just, we've had tons of weird stuff happen out there. Growls and howls and hoops and hollers and wood knocks. And so I was hooked, man. I was hooked. I started getting on different forums, and that's how I met you, on the old Alabama Bigfoot forum.
That's right. Well, actually, we met face to face at the outing. And
here, the outing was here.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. Mr. Tow's trailer's parked right there where my tent is now.
Yeah, 20 feet behind us.
Yeah, and that's where that rock got set up on his trailer, and he got ill the next morning. Thought one of us done it. And we all looking crazy, looking like, what is he mad about?
Oh, he said he was in there asleep, and
Yeah, and he
or
felt it.
laying there awake, and he heard something real soft rustle outside.
Yeah.
But that thing must have been 10 foot tall to stand on, because there's a steep drop off right there.
Yeah, and then
To be able to reach up, and he never heard the rock on the roof. He just heard some rustling in the bushes or just pine straw outside the window. That's all he heard.
and I was sleeping right on the other side of him, right there in the truck.
I bet that rock was 30 pounds.
Yeah.
It was a good sized rock.
Because I remember I pulled my truck up next to his trailer, and I had my daughter with me, and
Yeah, I was over there on the point.
I put her in the back seat, and I leaned my seat back, and but that was the same night we had that one pop up over yonder at the four-way, and had some good vocals that night.
Yeah.
That was a good outing. We had some. See, Mr. Mike was here.
His wife, Mike McLean, and his wife, Mr. Tao.
Mr. Tao, and
You and Keith.
yeah, me and Keith, and Hattie,
Yeah, Hattie was here.
Shawnee, and I can't remember some of these other people that were here.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them off that old Alabama farm. I don't even remember
Yeah,
who's
I can't
here
even
now.
remember who all them people were. I want to say there was a couple from Georgia was here. But I can't remember their name. I want to say they was from over around LaGrange. And there was a few other people. There was a
good sized outing.
one there's a younger lady with one of her kids or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they camped right up here on the hill above the slate there. Because 3 or 4 of them camped up there. And I can't remember, there's some more came in later that weekend.
I was camped over there on that point behind you.
Was anybody over there with you?
Diane Stocking.
That's right.
She rode with me from Florida, and she had her own tent, and she was over there. Oh, that's right. Remember, she said something woke her up in the middle of the night. Her foot was up, bare foot was up against the edge of the tent.
Okay,
And she said something grabbed a hold. No,
it was her.
it was Diane Stocking. Yeah,
Okay.
something grabbed a hold of her foot.
Okay. But we had an interesting night that night.
Yeah.
It was had that and stand up beside the truck. And the rock on Mr. Tao's
Roof.
had a lot of vocals going on that night. And her having her foot touched.
Yeah, she said it like grabbed a hold of her big toe, her big, that part of her foot.
Yeah.
Looked pretty firm, but not like to hurt, but just had a pretty good hold on it.
Right.
She, yanked her foot back.
Yeah.
Woke her up. I think something like that did happen to Lori over there too.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. Lori had the same thing happen over
A different time, me and Lori were camped over there. I was in the booger buggy. Remember I backed it all the way down in there?
Right, I remember that.
And she was in my tent on a cot with an air mattress. And it got really cold that weekend, remember?
Oh, yeah. I remember that was a cold weekend up here.
But we kept hearing these huge rocks hitting in the lake all night, off and on all night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, several of the hunting club members have experienced that. I've experienced it a few times. Be over here.
Yeah, big rocks.
Keep hearing.
They sound really big.
I mean, all night long. Me and Keith had a lot of crazy stuff happen here at this lake, too. I know you have, too. I guess one of the craziest things was the night Hattie pulled up.
Right here.
And me and you was already looking at it.
Right here. Right where we're sitting.
Yeah, that booger, in fact, was right there.
Right next to your truck.
Yeah. Well, off that drop there.
Yeah, there's a four-wheeler trail down the backside of the little pond dam here.
And we done spied him one time because we seen his eyes. And we seen the outlook of his, kind of seen his head and his shoulders, I think. And Hattie comes pulling up on the four-wheeler.
With the girl he was dating at the time.
And
his dog ran behind him all the way
had
up
the
here.
German Shepherd with him. And she wouldn't get off the four-wheeler because she wasn't feeling good, and Hattie was over here talking to us, and we told him, said, hey, you might want to get her because there's a booger right there. And that's about the time the dog spied it and took off toward it.
Barking.
barking, and that's when the thing growled back at the dog.
Mm-hmm.
The dog done a somersault trying to get back over here.
It dove underneath the 4-wheeler.
Then it came on over under your trailer.
Yeah, he was definitely.
It wouldn't come out from under there until he got ready to leave.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the booger left after that or not, because I never seen his eyes.
He probably didn't go far, but I think he knew he was busted at that spot.
Yeah. Well, that's how close he was sitting on top of us.
Yeah, he wasn't 15, 20 feet behind us.
Yeah.
I mean, literally right behind us. We
done spoke to him and told him to come over here and sit down and everything.
Well, maybe he was going to.
But he let out a growl, though, buddy. And that dog knew what that growl was.
I think him and that dog just about met face to face.
I think it was, yeah. And he let out that growl, and that dog knew then, uh-oh, I done goofed up. Then you've had that and that. I just had left, ain't been gone long, wasn't it? And one come flying off that hill.
Yeah, it was middle of the night. I didn't look at the clock or anything.
So I done been gone a while.
Probably. I don't know if it was 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock. You know, it woke me up in a dead sleep though. But I had the booger buggy. I had all the windows open. I don't remember what time of year it was, but it was warm enough out to have all the windows open. In the back of the trailer is pointing towards the little spillway, just like it is now.
Yeah.
And that's where my head lays. And I heard 2 loud thuds, which I didn't know what it was at first for a few seconds, on the other side of the little spillway. And that water's probably, I don't know, 15 feet wide maybe?
Yeah, something like that right there.
So, and there's a rock face on the other side. We'll do a little film on it tomorrow to show it. But
yeah.
So I think what I heard was the first 2 thuds was him running down that rock face. And then there was a gap for a second or second and a half or whatever. And then a thud on this side. And then running, pounding footsteps straight up the dirt road next to my trailer. And I'm pretty sure, remember we had the fire pit out here in the middle?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was right between the fire pit and my trailer. Because it was, you know, it sounded, I heard it through the back windows, then the side windows, then the front window as it went on up the road.
Yeah,
I'm sure he was laughing the whole time he was doing it. That's what I think, you know.
Yeah.
He said he probably told his buddy over here, hold my beer, watch this.
Yeah.
It just went running on through the middle of my campsite.
He probably wanted to see how you would react, probably.
I sat up and I said a few cuss words like, holy shit. And then I just, you know, as I heard him running up the road, I kind of chuckled, I laughed. I didn't come out, but I was like, holy shit, he's, you know, it's like kids ringing a doorbell and running. That's exactly what it was, just to see what would happen.
I know you've camped out in a lot of the other places on the club, some of the green fields, over off of number 9.
Yeah.
And we've always had usually something happen.
Yeah.
At most of them places. There's
what
something going on.
That little 5-way intersection I was at 2 years ago over there?
Right.
Past Field 4.
Right.
I had one walk right, and I didn't have any thermal imagers or audio running, nothing. I heard him walk literally right outside my window the whole length of my trailer.
Oh yeah.
Towards the front of my trailer. And we had 2 other tents with 4 other people spread out. And I think he was probably close to the middle of all 3 of the tents, or the 2 tents in the trailer. And he let out like a little, like under his breath almost. But I heard it because I had all my windows open.
Yeah.
Rusty was in there snoring with me. He was snoring up a storm. So I'm assuming that it probably crept in and heard snoring coming from the tents in from my trailer and assumed everybody was asleep, but it was Rusty snoring, not me.
Right.
I was just laying in there wide awake. And again, you know, I didn't set up any thermal imagers or nothing. I didn't have anything running whatsoever.
That's usually when they walk by.
You know?
They know what's
It's like that
going on.
night I had that thermal imager, and I was up here 2-3 nights. I was having issues with it. It kept overheating, and I finally unplugged it like the second night and put it away. And that's when that one woke me up with shaking my trailer.
Yeah.
And I was in there in a dead sleep, and that thing was just like something was standing outside pushing and rocking on it.
Yeah.
And that scared me. I mean, because I'm right next to the edge of the water.
It's next to the lake there.
Like, you know, and something that big could have tipped it over into the water. But I was awake for a couple hours after that.
Yeah. He just wanted to wake you up.
I think it's probably the same one that run through here. You know?
Probably, yeah. He's probably the one watching us right now.
Probably.
I know.
I know there's more than one up here, obviously, but...
Oh, yeah, there's more than one.
I mean, Keith's wife seen that one swing through the trees over there, and that was obviously a little one across the roadway.
There one night, as a lot of vocals went on, and we could tell the vocals were all coming from a different spot, and we counted 7 different vocals, and they were all from 7 different spots.
Yeah.
That was probably around 2009, 2010. And I think Mr. Towle was here at that time. And, you know, that's when he went to telling me, he said, son, I think y'all got 2 groups up here. Because he said, at the amount of vocals y'all are getting and some of the other stuff that's going on, he said, this place could handle probably two groups, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, all that's theory, but I mean, we don't know that for 100%.
One of these days, I hope to ask one of them.
You know,
if they sit down and play checkers with me or something.
See, y'all camped out at the Dove Field. Did y'all have anything happen at the Dove Field?
Yeah. You were working one night. Remember, there was a whole bunch of Hattie was here.
Right.
Connie was here. Willie was there.
Yeah.
Shoney was there. No, she wasn't there. I take that back. Keith was there.
Yeah.
Rusty was there.
Right.
And me and Willie run into town for a bit, like 7 or 8 o'clock. Came back, and all of them. Oh, Tony was camping too with his daughter.
Now that's over field. That's over the women's kids field.
Oh yeah.
Tony was here at that time.
Now the Dove field, we never, other than some vocals off in the distance. But yeah, over at that women's field.
That's where we had the talking behind.
Yeah, you were there because you had a tent and your daughter was with you.
Yeah, Katie and Jonathan.
I was thinking you were at work, but yeah.
And Tony had his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, me and Tony and the kids finally turned in, and later in the night, I kept hearing Tony, Mark, you know, like that. And I was like, yeah. He said, who's this talking behind us? And I got to listen, and you hear it. I mean, this went on for 20 minutes behind us, you know, and then it got quiet, you know, and I mean, I could, every now and then I'd hear what sounded like walking, and I think that's when Tony kind of became a believer in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which he never gave me fits about it. He was always cool about it. He said, Mark, if you seeing something, you seeing something, you know. He said, I've been knowing you long enough to know. And yeah, about every place we've ever camped up here, something went on.
Yeah, Field 4, we've had some weird stuff happen up there.
And it was real funny tonight. The college boys over at the camp house finally got to meet one. And
oh yeah.
When I guess he moved the branches back and looked, and that one boy seen him and scared them half to death.
Peeking through the trees right on the other side of the campfire from them.
Yeah. Sound like we happened to be over here, and we could hear them coming.
Yeah, all the way across the hilltop.
Yeah, they was about to tear the truck to pieces. They got out of the truck down here all excited and tore up about it. And
we had to tell them what it was.
Yeah.
Because they had no idea. They were just up here to hunt. They had no idea what was going on. At the same
time, the other guy, the older guy, you know, was having a lot of stuff happening that was camping over there too.
Yeah, like his door opened in the middle of the night.
Door opening. And
on his camper.
That's
why I locked mine.
You know, the silhouette of something going by and the rock clicking. And then, of course, his wife had, I don't know if you call it an aggressive encounter or it was just wanting her out of there or what it was doing, but later on I'll tell a little more about that. But I've mentioned it before already on some of the videos about it. But there's just so much went on up here, you can't keep up with it all. I probably about forgot half of what I remember, you know. Because after a while, it just starts jumbling together, you know, and what all went on. And but there's
pretty much always something happening though.
Yeah, and you know, last year, or last time you was here, and I can't remember if it's the other time you were here, the thumping going on over here.
It was last time I was here, right here at the lake.
Yeah, I mean, we both sit here and listen to something just don't.
It was night and day for the whole time I was here.
Yeah, I still ain't figured out what that was.
I couldn't, but it was coming from right down there behind the waterfall.
Yeah. So I don't know what that thumping noise was.
Did you hear that?
I don't know if that was a limb or something getting thrown.
I don't know.
But that wind gusted about the same time.
Rusty didn't bark, so.
Yeah.
He's been nervous up here though.
Has
this week, yeah, this time.
Well, I mean, Sunday night you had some stuff going on, so. I'm pretty sure what I seen up yonder on that hill a while ago was eye shine though. Because I got a good look at it, and it's like it looked this way and turned its head real quick. But I ain't seen it no more. I've been trying to watch up there.
Yeah, I've been looking up there too. I haven't seen anything. Haven't seen anything anywhere.
Do what?
Somebody should be watching down a 4-wheeler track.
Well, that's the side of the tent you're sleeping on, right? That's your job.
Yeah, we might get something crawled up right behind the tent tonight.
I'm kind of hoping the wind dies down so we can hear better.
Because the dog, we got the dog with us, so she'll probably hear it before we do. She'll go ballistic.
I will have one of my thermals in the back of my truck pointing kind of in behind your tent. If anything comes up that trail, maybe I can pick it up.
Yeah.
The other one I'm going to have focused kind of right through the middle of my camp area towards the fire pit.
Right.
There's all kinds of food out.
Well,
people food, dog food, there's tons of stuff there.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll probably go ahead and stop filming for right now. And we'll restart tomorrow unless something happens here shortly. And if something gets stirred up, we'll go back to filming. But
Y'all be doing it without me. I can't handle this wind.
About time for you to go to bed.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm going to sign off from Creepy Mountain on Tuesday night. It's probably about 10 o'clock or so.
Yeah, it's getting about that time. We'll do some filming tomorrow and see what we got. All right, we'll talk with y'all later.
Stay tuned.
All right, y'all. I'm going to show you something a minute. Not saying if it's anything, but this is right here next to our clubhouse. I did not notice this the other day. Rebecca just noticed it. But what's weird is this right here. That is strange. Yeah, it's right here next to our clubhouse. I didn't notice, and I've been in and out of here all week. I ain't paid that no attention. Huh. It's weird. Not saying it is anything. I'll let y'all draw y'all's conclusion on that one. That is weird though. Alrighty, we'll talk to y'all later. Alright, y'all. We'll let you check out the booger buggy a minute. Huh? Yeah, right here. Yeah. So let you check it out a minute. This is Pat's little camper that he uses for booger hunting when he goes different places. He kind of got that idea a little bit from Mr. Bill Whitetail Bunko. So if you just want to get top notch, this is what you could do. Got a bed, a little desk. He can store stuff in here. Of course, you see what he's got built, nice little aluminum thing.
Yeah.
Awning made out of PVC. Take down pretty quick.
I've got a power inverter there on that front shelf.
Yep.
And in this toolbox on the front of the tongue, I got 2 marine batteries with a solar panel hooked to it. As long as it's fairly decent sunny weather, I never have to pull a generator or anything like that. Everything just keeps charging.
Yep. Got it set up. There's that little table Tony made for you.
Yeah. Comes in handy.
So if you want something you can stay in, here's something you can think about. Yeah, he comes up on this hunting club in it, and if y'all seen some of these roads up here, you'd say, Lord have mercy. But he did go put a different axle in it and raise it up a little bit, so.
And the rear bumper, they had to re-weld the whole back end of the trailer. It was being pulled apart, and they put me a nice bumper on there too.
So that'd be something nice to think about right there if you was gonna do a lot of little places. Because you can get that in and get it out.
And there's all kinds of really cool YouTube videos where guys have taken trailers this big or maybe a little bit bigger.
Make stuff out of them, yeah.
Well, they make built-in kitchens on the back doors. You open them up, it's got a whole built-in kitchen.
Yeah.
They got all their solar panels. They got a little bathroom and shower in them, cabinets, and pull-out beds. And I mean, some of these guys have got extremely creative with what they're doing with them.
Yeah, one of my buddies that goes out to Texas mule deer hunting a lot, they took a trailer like this, and there's 7, 8 of them go, and they made it bunk beds. Yeah. And then the other guys got one, and that's their kitchen. But Lane's one that's got the one down here with all the bunk beds in it. And you can take the bunk beds out in a hurry. You can unfasten them, then it's back to a regular utility trailer.
Yeah, that's 2. That shelf in the front and 2 in the back. I can just unscrew those.
Yeah.
Put a 4-wheeler in there, my motorcycle, or use it for moving. And anything you want. I got tie downs all the way around the sides of the walls.
Yep.
Cargo tie downs.
Y'all, this is Mark from Cedar Creek Bottoms. I'm gonna get off here for the day, so appreciate all the older subscribers and all the new subscribers. There's Rebecca. So y'all hit that notification bell, share, like, comment. I got some other stuff I got to work on. Like I said, I got an outing coming up this weekend, so we'll probably have some footage from it. And y'all need to remember everybody we support. Spencer with Woods Walkers, him and Misty. And then of course Chris Reinhardt with Discover Sasquatch, and Kyle Conley with Encrypted Connections, and Misty and her family with Southern Appalachian Sasquatch Seekers on Facebook. Y'all go over and check her page out. If you know of any sightings going on up in her neck of the woods in Tennessee, and let her know. Same with Spencer in Virginia. So there's some other channels we watch, and of course Beast TV. Check them guys out, they back online. And there's some others, Martin Nunley and Hellbent Holler. So anyway, we're gonna get off from here. Pat's running from the camera. Hey, show them one thing you've been doing with your thermal for a minute, if you got a second. Yeah. I know you done put it up, but just
no, I got one.
I want to show you something before we go that he does, something that you might think about doing. I don't guess he'll mind us showing that. I should have asked him first, I guess.
No, I don't know.
So what he does, he has this little box.
This little $12 tackle box.
And he's got him a hole cut in it.
That's the lens for the thermal imager.
Yep, right.
I keep all my cords and adapters.
Right.
Took some old upholstery. I got this thermal imager lined up in that hole.
Right.
And then this USB I keep connected to this battery. It's a 40,000 milliamp battery. I get about 3-4 nights out of it. Keep everything fully running all night. Of course, this guy is rechargeable. And then when I need to dump the video, I just simply unplug it and plug it to the laptop.
And dump it.
Dump everything into the laptop and set it up again for the next night.
That's cool.
I have 2 of these. And I got a handheld FLIR. And I got that older one that I have. It's got a little issue with the electrical connection, but I need to have that thing looked at and fixed so I can use that one as well.
Right.
It's got that old one has a much wider field of view. This is really nice.
Yeah.
But it's more like a
nice
scope. It's more of a narrow field of view. But it's extremely
good thermal.
Good quality. Really good quality.
Yeah.
So I have 2 of these. That's the AGM. I think it's a TM25-384. And the quality is excellent on these.
So there we go. Yeah,
It's
y'all.
got a 4x zoom. It'll take snapshots or full motion video. And then you can adjust the focus for your particular eyesight.
Yeah, that's nice.
Really tuned in tight.
That's nice. And what he does, he'll take and set it like in back of his truck at night where it blends in with the tool boxes and stuff he has. And
They're waterproof.
Waterproof. So
this one I put flex tape on it because where the handle is a little hole, so if it rained, it'll get in there.
Right.
This makes it watertight.
Right. So there's something for you to think about. Like if you're gonna go somewhere, you could put it and make it look like a tool box and set it on back of your truck or something. And while you're sleeping in your tent, and
so this thing might sit out in the rain all night, won't hurt it.
Yeah, might catch something coming through, and that's what he does. He sits in back of that truck, and you see his tools and stuff, and of course he needs to go through a bunch of video.
Yeah, I've got thousands of audio or video thermal imaging I've never even had a chance to review. So
right.
I'm gonna make a YouTube. Well, I have an old YouTube channel. I'm gonna start uplifting stuff on there and asking people to help me review stuff and leave comments on each particular video.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Go look at 13 minutes in or 3 hours in, or no, I watch that entire thing. There's nothing there, and then I can delete them.
Yeah, need to do that.
So, but I've been recording video, thermal imaging video, for years, and I've got hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of hours I've never looked at.
Right.
Never even had a chance to review.
Need to do that. Need to go.
No telling what I got in there.
Yeah.
I might have a booger sitting out here at this table playing Chinese checkers.
Might
Don't even know it.
May do it. All right. I'm gonna get off here for today. We'll see y'all next time. It's Mark from Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead Life with another. I guess can't call it fireside chat no more. Have to call it something else. So.
Creepy Mountain Chat.
Yeah, maybe start calling it Creepy Mountain Chat. So. Anyway, we'll talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.